Happy solar eclipse. Oh my goodness. Are you feeling it? I know so many of you are. I am feeling blissful and balanced and peaceful and very harmonized. And this energy report is going to be a roadmap for you on how to get to this blissful state. Sometimes we have to go through the upgrades and the shifting and the sorting through of what is needing to stay and what is needing to go. And over the course of years that I have been doing my work, I've done a lot of that, sifting and sorting through what needs to leave my reality, and this way I can amplify my field into my next level and move on to the place that I'm meant to be. But I know that these energies are super challenging as I write on behalf of the collective experience, and I am being a witness to what is playing out currently on the grand stage. So first, I wanted to talk about some of this energy and what is transpiring through it. My understanding of eclipses are that they usually eclipse things out of our lives and can bring to fruition endings that are needing to take place. But I also understand that they can bring in new beginnings for us, something that might be exciting, something that we may not even have been aware is on the horizon for us. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about this energy, as my understanding is that lunar eclipses usually shine a spotlight on the things that are hidden in the dark that we were unaware of. And by the time we get to the solar eclipse then really spotlights or highlights the areas in our life that we need to make some changes. So you can see how that applies to your life during this solar eclipse energy, where the spotlight might be shining and either giving you some clearer direction on a path you need to take, or perhaps it's shining a spotlight on something that's really not serving your highest good or working in your reality anymore, that needs to be cleared out so that you can make room for what would serve your highest, best good. But let's talk about these energies first, because they can be challenging. We've had a lot of solar activity out there. I know many of you are waiting on that solar flash to take place on a global collective level. But my understanding and perception of that is that it's going to happen for us individually on our own time. And if you follow me, you'll have either read or heard me talk about my experience with my own personal solar flash. When it happens, it is in the third eye, and you actually see the sun. The sun fills your whole field in your third eye, fills your head, and it will actually explode. And in that moment, there is this amazing sensation that goes with that. It illuminated another aspect of my divine self, my higher self, and brought in source consciousness to a greater degree. If you follow me on Instagram, you can go back and read about it and check it out. I don't want to take up this time here with it. Or you can read it on my blog, on my website. But it is my understanding from what I experienced that it will be happening internal with each one of us. So don't sit waiting. That's the worst thing we could do, is waiting for something to happen, an event to happen or something, because that's where we're focusing our energy. And that's one of the things that I wanted to speak about today, is how this energy is working right now. Forget about that it's an eclipse or any of the solar activities. These energies are super intensified, and what I'm noticing is new codes are being released, or old codes are being released that have maybe taken steroids and are amplified and over exaggerated in the way that we're experiencing them. And so one of the things that's been coming up recently is these codes are going through the heart center, which also contains the lungs. And in this case, it's a code for humanity that's activating the 2222 code. That's an old code, but it seems to be reactivating again. It's about the breath of life and the breath of creation. And that's why we have trouble breathing when that code activates. And it can feel like we're drowning or in our breath, or suffocating, or maybe can't catch our breath. So if that's occurring within you, this is your body needing a timeout. So make the time to rest and take some downtime for yourself as you're processing and integrating tremendous light codes as you're going through that experience. And that's an upgrade to your DNA, to your cells, to your molecules, to every aspect of who you are. Okay, very, very important to have that awareness that these light frequencies we can't see with our eyes are coming into our field and rearranging things in order to help us ascend our consciousness, evolve our consciousness, however you want to say it. But it's basically this spiritual evolution that is happening now on a collective level that started when COVID started last year in March, where everybody had the time out and got an opportunity to sit quietly and go within and assess themselves and the life where we're at. Okay. And one of the other things that's happening now because of all the solar flare activity and solar activity in general are what's known as template wipes. Now, I talked about a template wipe I had in 2015 in my last video. When we have a template wipe, it could take us offline, or it can make us feel like we have lost touch with everything in our reality. In other words, if you're intuitive, it'll feel like your intuition has shut down. You have no psychic abilities. You have no communication abilities. You can't hear your higher self. You might feel disoriented, like not knowing what to do next. Be forgetful, not knowing, how to start the car, or maybe how to open the door of the car. Little things that you do every single day that you do normally and don't have a challenge with. We can forget simple stuff that we never had a problem with. It also affects our memories. So memories of certain events in your life or childhood or anything like that, that template wipe will actually come in and clear out the templates that hold that information, right? Because they're template imprints in our field and also in Gaia's field. So these template wipes will come in and actually clear the old templates that are married to the 3D matrix and allow new templates to overlay our field in order to bring us up into these higher dimensional states of being, okay? And it can feel a little scary at times. I know it can feel very numbing, and it can make you feel like you have no sense of purpose, but it doesn't last long. And the most important thing to remember during this time is to make time for yourself. Just be present for what's showing up. Because you will navigate this very quickly now. When I did it back in October of 2015, it actually took me offline for 3 months. I was in bed for 3 months with the template wipe. And so now, because the energies are moving so fast, you won't experience that yourself. It'll be very quick if you allow yourself to just rest and integrate these energies, okay? So with that said, now, one of the most important things during this time and going forward is to not pay any attention to anything that you're seeing outside of your reality. So if it is not in your immediate reality, if it is not tangible to you where you're actually experiencing it and having contact with that experience in your reality, then it is not real for you. So in other words, if you're watching it on the TV, it's not real. If you're hearing about it in the news, it's not real. If somebody's telling you about it, it's not real. If you're seeing it far away in a story or something, it's not real. The only thing that is real is the reality that you are experiencing in this moment. Everything else is not real. Everything else are timeline possibilities or timeline potentials. Now, last night I had my weekly mastery class, and I was talking about this with them. And I gave the example of, when COVID first started, and they were talking about the virus and how dangerous it was and everything. And I remember saying, that is never going to be my truth. COVID is never going to be dangerous to me. It's not going to be harmful for me. And I am not going to play into that in my reality. And I was never impacted by it in any way, shape, or form. Okay. It never happened in my reality. The next thing that took place was contact tracing. People started to go into fear and panic, and they were worried about being contacted. Many of them were. And I, again, did not claim that in. I said, that's just a storyline that's playing out. That's not my reality. I am not claiming that in. And it never happened in my reality. I never experienced it. But what I did experience was when I got my new Jeep, I was finalizing the paperwork at the dealership, and the dealer had wanted me to take extra insurance on the Jeep. It's a lease. Extra insurance on the Jeep would have blown my payment up something like $20 or $30 more a month. And was to cover body damage to the vehicle for I think a $5,000 cap or something like that. And I remember thinking, I don't need that. I've never had a problem. I've never been in accidents, and everything is good with me, and I don't need that. Well, he kind of put the fear of God into me, like I should take it. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm not taking that, because I know in my reality, I'm not going to experience that. Well, it must have been in my subconscious, unconscious mind, which feeds our conscious mind. And soon after I had the car, a week later, I came out of a store, and somebody must have let a shopping cart go into the back of my car, and it made these two very fine scratches in the hindquarter. And I thought to myself, that's that reality playing out, where I didn't take the insurance on my car, the extra insurance. And now, because I must be holding some kind of fear towards it, I'm manifesting that in my reality. And I don't want to manifest a car full of dings, scratches, or even an accident. So I've got to get control over this and shift my thinking so that it's not even in my subconscious, unconscious mind, that I'm not going to create it. And that's what I started working on. I started working on that, very consciously, to let go of it and not feed into that reality possibility, because I didn't want to create any damage to my car. See, now that was something that was in my reality that was affecting me on a personal level because it was in my reality. But things that are not in my reality are not going to affect me on a personal level. And that's why I can say my life is more aligned with peace and harmony, and everything that I allow into my reality is of a higher vibrational level, or is a reality I'm choosing to play in. Because anything that's a lower level reality is not going to be something that I choose to play in. I'm not going to choose to play in it, see it, experience it. And in most cases, I don't even want to hear about it, because it's not my reality that I'm going to struggle with or suffer with. It's like the gas prices. I had tons of people contacting me going, oh my God, gas is going up. It's $7. I can't believe it, da, da, da. And I kept saying, that is not going to be my reality. And I never experienced the price of gas going up. I still haven't. I don't play in that reality. But that is a reality that we can choose to play in. That's a reality that we can call in, because of course everything is a creation of our thoughts. So we can create that as a reality, and then of course that reality will be what we experience. We don't really want to do that. So it's really important to remember that in every single moment, our thoughts, our words, and our actions, our intention, our focused attention, all of that is creating the reality that we're experiencing. And the reason for that is because it's tied to law of attraction, law of vibration, law of one, the law of cause and effect, right? We could throw in all of the universal laws, but it's very important to remember whatever you are believing, feeling, perceiving, running through your body as your truth. If you hold fear to it, you're using your body, you're holding that fear in your physical body, you're going to call it into your reality. Whatever you're focused on is going to eventually show up. So we want to make sure that we're not focused on the things that we don't want. I see people doing that all the time, focusing on a lack of money. I don't have enough money. I never have money. Money is hard to come by. And all of those things will definitely make money challenging to come by. I talk about that a lot in my prior videos. You can go check those out. One of the things that I wanted to mention, which is really important, which I'm seeing a lot of, is that pets are getting sick. And they're getting sick because animals are our partners, right? And they're also our guru to tell us when we're out of balance. Now, when I had my cat Merlin, I had him for 9 years. And when I first got him, everything was stable in my marriage. Merlin came to me. I didn't go looking for him. He found me, and he showed up pretty much. I think it was like 2 years into my marriage, 3 years into my marriage. And then as my marriage started to deteriorate, I noticed that Merlin was getting into fights with other cats. Meanwhile, I was not fighting with my ex, and we were, living together, not in a great way, but we weren't fighting with each other. And I noticed the escalation of what was taking place with my cat, coming home with wounds, and like he had been in a battle, and it was constantly me having to tend to these wounds of him. And we had this one dream where I dreamt that I was in the Godhead with him, and we were sitting on a ledge talking, and he was a Syrian, and as a Syrian, a black cat about 4 feet tall. And he was explaining that he had to come back in this form to support me in this lifetime. We knew each other in other realities, but in this lifetime, the only position that he could play for me was the cat role, because he knew that I was going to need support in that way so that I wouldn't get physically sick. And he was taking the hit for me through that, and that's what animals will do for us. Okay, so when animals get sick, we're not getting sick, they're getting sick so that we don't get sick. That's how it works. That's the soul contract with these animals. So they're harmonizing with us constantly, which is something important for us to be aware of, because when we're in chaos, they will feel that chaos and manifest whatever it is. Now, does that always happen? No. Of course, we've seen situations where humans pass, and then their beloved animal partner has to be gifted to somebody else, or unfortunately sometimes ends up as a shelter, right? But I can tell you with my cat Merlin is that it was progressively getting worse with him, and worse and worse, until I moved. When I moved into this house back in November of 2018, the second day that I was living here, I brought him to the house so that he could see his new home, because I wanted him to live here with me, because my ex didn't want him. And he took a walk around the whole entire house and met me back at the front door. And I remember this very, very vividly. He looked up at me, I looked down at him. He bumped my shin with his forehead, and I heard him say, "You did good, Ma." And with that, he turned and he looked out the door, because I have a storm door that's a glass door, and he looked out the door and he looked back at me and said, "I need to go now. I'm ready to go." And he did. I was in a state of, of disarray because I had just moved in. So I was trying to get my new footings and unwind from my previous situation and my marriage. And I was like, is he leaving, or is he just going out and he's coming back? And he left, and I didn't see him again because his soul contract with me was over. I was able to move myself out of that situation that was toxic to me, and he did not need to anchor me anymore. If he had not been my anchor, I probably wouldn't be here. I might have had cancer again, and I wouldn't have been able to go as deeply into my work as I did, which allows me to now bring this work here through for you. So it's very, very important for us to remember that when our animals are presenting with some kind of an issue health-wise, we have to look at that issue and see how that issue factors into maybe something that could have showed up for us if we were not, if we did not have the animal for a partner, right? So if your animal suddenly shows up and let's say they have some kind of problem with their skin. And I see this a lot, right? Where an animal might have problems with the skin, they have excessive itching, or maybe they have some kind of a skin issue or something like that. That would normally be us. We would have the issue. Skin is grounding, it's root chakra, it's heart chakra, right? So where we're holding grief, we're not grounded, we're in fight or flight mode, we're in survival mode. And then we have skin issues like psoriasis or eczema, or we could even have alopecia where we're losing our hair. Okay, alopecia is also skin in my world of energy medicine. And so you know, we have to look at the animal and what is presenting and see how that could play into our reality and what we might be experiencing that we're not experiencing in the physical, because our animal partner is taking that in for us so that we do not have to use our physical body and we can work through shifting. That's what they're here for, okay? And when there's no illness in our animal partner, then, and there's no illness within us, then we know that we're in balance and harmony, okay? And that's just how it works. And I'm noticing a lot of that lately, so I just wanted to mention that in this energy update. But in any case, whatever is taking place for you, make sure that you are staying truly present and truly conscious, not letting yourself go unconscious, not playing in judgment, whether it's a judgment of yourself or judgment of something else that somebody else is doing. Because again, if you go back to my prior videos, every time something takes place with someone else, it's never about them and what they need to do to change. It's always about us and what we need to do to change. Right? We have to see that it's always going to be us. They're showing up to help us shift again. They're showing us up to help us be in our best, highest state of creation. All right. And that's how this all works. That's why it's very, very important to stay present in everything that you are experiencing and not allow anything that is not truly resonating with you into your field. So if it's not something that's making you happy, don't do it. Don't say yes to it if you really don't want to do it. Don't say yes if you really don't want to go or have that experience. Only accept or allow in what you're truly wanting to experience so that you can continue to elevate your consciousness, ascend your vibration, and be in the higher realms for what's unfolding. These energies, every year I've said, oh, it can't get any higher than this. It can't get any higher than this. And yet it has. And it is. And it's going to continue. And I'm sure next year at this time, you will see me making a video talking about how I said last year, I didn't think it could get any higher, but yet it has, and it will continue to do that. Okay. So remember that everything that shows up is showing up for us so that we can shift. We can use it to see where we need to shift, whether it's thoughts, our words, our actions, our intentions, our attention, whatever it is that we're focused on. Okay, so I hope that this was useful to you. And if you found it useful, please consider giving me a thumbs up, subscribing, hit the bell notification so that you can be notified when a new video comes out. Um, to those of you that have made contributions to me, donations to supporting my work, thank you so much. I am always truly humbled and grateful for those of you that understand reciprocity, and I can't even tell you how much it means to me that you support me in that way. So thank you so much. Know that I love you so very much. I will keep you updated on what's going on with these energies. Please stay in the work. Please stay present for whatever is showing up for you in this time in order to gauge where your highest timeline is, and then focus and point yourself in that direction so you're having these greater, blissful, higher level experiences, and elevating yourself throughout the next few weeks, which are going to be challenging because we're still in these revelation codes, and we're in a period of the solar eclipse that we're under, shedding the spotlight on truth. Um, and so whatever that's going to look like, just allow yourself to be present, show up for it. Don't pull anything into your field that you don't want to create in your reality, and just do your best to navigate these energies, resting when you need to and staying hydrated. Know that I love you, and we will connect again soon. Have a wonderful whatever it is that you're doing. Take care. Bye-bye.